This is it, Scott. The end of Decision at Elst.
Finally, I've
How do you
been waiting
feel?
for this day for a long time.
You've been anticipating this forever. At least the voiceover. This is the last voiceover we've got for Decision at
I was,
Elst.
I was definitely when we were playing the campaign game. I was definitely looking forward to the end as well. So
Yeah, I bet playing the Germans, it's probably a rough. Oh God, here we go. Here's the British tsunami I was referring to in the end of the last video. I'm just stacked to the rafters there at the front.
yeah, looks like you got a platoon of Shermans.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is yeah. You just went all out after my last Panther. I got one. I think I only have one surviving tank.
Yeah, he's off to the upper right. This video is a little janky compared to the other videos because for some reason I didn't capture the correct window, which I normally capture. I captured the play window. So you're seeing all my activity, not just counters moving around. But I think your Panther is up to the upper right, just south of that polder there.
Yeah, he's up against the edge of the map, but.
And I fired and intensive fired. I'm like, I'm gonna kill that son of a bitch.
You did.
No, all I did was immobilize it at the end.
Well, no, you intensified. You kept pounding
Oh
and
yeah,
pounding.
yeah,
I think you got a stun and then
yeah.
a shock, and you just kept get your three Shermans just blasting away at him.
Oh, extreme close up, extreme zoom.
Yeah.
So I have one radio here left. I think you bought a radio this. Oh yeah, you set him back
Yeah,
up
I
in
did.
there.
But you saw him, and that was another thing you just pounded on.
Yep.
I think you broke him on. I never even got a spotting round off.
Right.
Yeah, it was just sad.
Because I was really worried because I thought you'd bought rocket artillery and you were just gonna lay into me. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta break that guy. So yeah, I just fired everything I had and
I
ended up
guess I
breaking him.
still had two tanks. I got the Panther up to the northeast, and then I got one of my Panzer 3Bs, yeah, or ends, whatever, down there
Hmm.
on the edge of the map. It took out one of your Shermans there.
Oh, the south one, M12 or whatever.
Yeah, southeast.
Whoa.
You're making the big push now, though.
Yeah.
Look at all those Brits.
Oh, your main armor or your main weapon malfunction on your Panther, too.
Yeah, that was pretty much the end of him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm.
This video is wonky.
Yeah, I know it's hopping all over. I try to mainly stay zoomed in on where the action is. I set up nothing in the south. I just threw everything I had and that I bought into the village there.
Yeah.
And I don't think I waited to position my smoke. I actually tried to start moving because I didn't think you'd have enough firepower to stop everything anyway. Here I'm correcting. Finally get some smoke down.
Yeah, there goes some. Here comes the smoke.
Yeah. Yeah, that tank in II-6 from the previous date was killed. So yeah, we lost some video from the previous play.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got Super and PP9 there.
Yeah.
I think that's where he ended up the day before too. But
And the interesting thing about that hex is I don't have line of sight up to the steeple because of the in-season orchard. I could only fire your units in the bottom, which I guess was fine because I had to get through them anyway to get up to the steeple.
I thought you laid smoke. I guess something.
Oh, yeah, it went away. What happened? I don't know, probably screwed something up and we backed out.
Yeah, but you broke something in the steeple. I mean, at this point, I'm thinking I was able to break a couple of your guys. Thought, oh, maybe there's a chance, but it's not long before I'm just totally overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They're all broke. All the Volks Grenadiers broke.
Oh, there's smoke.
Everybody's broke in the church, and
even the guys on the bottom floor. I can't.
Yeah,
were they broke?
Broke.
Yeah, so I'm probably trying desperately to get someone next to them, just to get them out of there.
I think you're trying to run around behind.
Oh, it's my Oh my
Coming in
Sherman.
for the
I'm
kill.
like
Yeah,
coming in close.
yeah.
I still don't think it works.
No, you never did.
I never
Most
did
of the
kill that son of a bitch. Even he's shocked, main armor broken, I can't kill it. Because I couldn't get behind it. I mean, I could have gone up around the polder through the grain to try to get
Look at
a
that!
rear
Look at
shot.
that wave!
I know.
Look at this wave,
Yeah.
British. I
Uh,
got nothing to stop you with.
yeah, at this point, I mean, in the
I
sped
think
up
we
version,
just.
there's 20 seconds left. You're about to throw in the towel.
Yeah, I toss in the towel. I've had enough Elst. I'm done. It's over.
I ignored all your units to the south there. I just figured take the church, drop smoke. Yeah, that's what you threw in the towel there. So my plan here was ignore the south, put everything in the village, take the church, drop smoke around RR 11 or 12 or something to
Yeah.
mask me running off the board. That was my plan, but it never got there. He capitulated, said I'd have enough of these Brits.
Well, I don't know. I think we must only be on turn 2.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
can't.
early.
And it's like, yeah, you still, and you're so close. It's like you still had, and you only needed 20 victory points, I think,
Yeah, and there's probably like
something like that.
I don't know 60 in that stack and all those. I don't know how many there are.
Yeah, and I knew. I mean, yeah, there's no way I could stop you. I'd had a belly full of Elst at this point, so.
Yeah, and if everything was broken in the main steeple hex there, yeah, all those guys had to route
Oh, they
out.
were toast. Yeah, they were toast.
Well, yeah, they were toast because they couldn't route to. Well, 009 is broken. They probably could have gone with the 008.
There's still 2 Volksgrenader squads in 008,
Yeah,
but the writing's on the wall. The fat
actually,
lady's warming up, and
you couldn't have routed there. You could have only routed one because there's literally no overstacking in starter kit. So the other guys would have been toast, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, the guys in the steeple, they can't. I don't think they could route down,
No,
become
they'd be
adjacent, and
adjacent.
then yeah,
Yeah, Chewbacca up in the
yeah.
steeple
And
is
there was no
stuck.
place. Yeah, there's no place. The broken guys couldn't. There's no place for them to route.
No.
Everything would be adjacent, and
Hmm.
yeah.
And I left some 4.36s down in those buildings in case he tried to take out my artillery leader back there in FF13, but it didn't get to that point.
Nah.
So that was our first experience with the campaign game. What did you think? Well, I'll ask you two questions. What did you think of just campaign games in general, the structure of it and how it works? And then what did you think of Elst specifically?
Um. Well, I guess my answer to both would be about the same. It was fun. Um. I thought it's different. I mean, it's just different because the campaign game, it plays, to me at least, it felt like it played way different than a regular scenario.
Hmm.
And I guess that, like, it doesn't have as much fun factor, but it feels more historical the way it plays. And it's just the epicness of it. And as far as Elst, it was like playing the Germans, it was tough.
Yeah, I
Uh,
imagine.
I think I mean, obviously, I think the Germans have a chance to win. I mean,
Hmm.
even if you're playing a competent British opponent, I think there's still, the Germans still have a chance to win. It's slim. I mean, you might have like a start with a 30% chance maybe of winning. It just depends on how everything goes. I mean, you need a lot of luck, but
Hmm.
every day, I mean, you're outnumbered. You're constantly being beat back. It's just
Yeah.
a struggle to hold on. But I don't know. I was a little bitter about it at first, I guess. But I guess, I mean, not so much that I lost or anything. It's just that just taking that beating for 6 weeks or whatever. But I don't know. Now it's like, it was fun.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So I guess I'll answer my own questions. The campaign game format. I think this is, from what I can tell from looking at the other campaign games that we both have, Red Barricades, Concrete Piper, Blood Reef, Tarawa, whatever, right? I think
hmm
the structure's all the same, right? There's dates, there's refit phases, you buy units, you make some adjustments, and you hit the battlefield again. Um, I like that structure because each date, even though each date kind of played like a scenario, right? You both had units, you both
yeah,
had setups. There were no real victory conditions, though, right? There's only the
yeah,
campaign game
yep,
or victory condition. Even though each date kind of plays like a scenario, it still didn't feel like a scenario to me because you didn't know
yeah,
what your opponent was going to do. You didn't know how he was going to set up. The setup areas morphed as we played and ended each date. So I like the variability of that part of the campaign game. But I can also see, at least from my perspective, that because all of the campaign games that have been put out, at least by Multiman Publishing and Avalon Hill, use that same structure. Seems like that structure might get a little old if you play a lot of campaign games. Um, that's why I think campaign games like the ones that were introduced with the Advancing Fire guys for Brevity Assault look interesting to me because it's completely different the way it works. There's like an operational
yeah,
level and a tactical level. Um, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning the campaign game process. Now, as far as decision at Elst itself, the actual historical part of it, I was not expecting, like we've talked about before, I was not expecting this map to be as hellish
oh
as it
yeah,
was.
yeah. It
Um,
was brutal. Yeah, brutal.
when I first got this module, I don't know, however many years ago, I looked at the map and I'm like, oh, it's just a flat
Yeah,
field with some orchards and stuff.
yeah,
Uh, and then I put it back in the box and I look at it later and we finally started playing it and I'm setting up and we actually played. I'm like, it's brutal.
yeah.
From both sides, right? From me
hmm
playing the British trying to assault, it's good in that I can get some cover, but I can't bring any fire to bear on you unless I get in face to face because I'm firing through
Yeah,
grain into stone buildings and I either can't hit anything or I can't get a decent infantry fire table result on you to get anything. And conversely, you're
yeah,
firing back at me and I'm running through polders and grain and it's just way more it's a way more intimidating battlefield than it looks on the map. And we write about that in our article too, and it really surprised me.
yeah. I mean, it's real. It's up close in your face. I mean, this section of the map right here, between the town hall and the village, that's about the most open
Yeah,
spot on the whole map.
yep, it is.
Uh, yeah, there's no long range. It's terrible tank ground.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a
there's
couple places you can take a long range shot, but it's just so limited. It's
yeah, not
just
many. Mainly, the long range shots are mainly down roads, either
yep,
either down through grain avenues or through building avenues. Those are the only long range shots you really get without a lot of hindrances. Now, I think after playing this and thinking about it and writing our article, I think this favors the British. I wouldn't say heavily, but the British are favored decently in this campaign game. That's just the feeling I get. Unless you play it really oddly, but if you stick to the fundamentals and just push up the road and use smoke, I'm not sure how the Germans are going to be hard pressed to stop the British.
yeah. I'd say it's got to be at least like 60, 70%
Yeah,
in favor of the British. I don't know.
And I gave you the balance at the beginning. I don't think it amounted to a hill of beans. I
No.
left two light mortars off. It's like, really? That's your balance? That didn't do anything really.
Yeah, and it's just for the first campaign date.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a better balance would be like to increase the German campaign point purchase points somehow,
Well,
increase.
I had an idea for the way to um, minimize the impact of campaign purchase point. So you have to roll a die, right? And you subtract
Hmm.
that from your campaign purchase point base. The Brit or the Germans, if they roll poorly, they're screwed, right? Like if you
Yeah.
roll a couple sixes for the the six dates, it could just cripple you. And I came up with an idea to reduce that sensitivity, and I was going to include it in the article, but it was becoming too long, so I left it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're on the right track in that you could adjust the purchase points for the Germans to help them out a little bit.
Well, I mean, I didn't design the game, and I don't know. I haven't really messed with it enough to know for sure, but just it seems like because we both did in the refit phases, we both did the same thing when it came to the purchase points, and we both had to roll 1d6 and then
Hmm.
subtract that. Well, you already have like what 2 to 3 times as many purchase points than I do,
Yeah, from
and we're
like
both
twos or so.
potentially yeah we're both potentially subtracting the same amount.
Yeah.
That just didn't seem. I mean, I actually did got pretty lucky. I think I rolled a 5 on my first day,
Hmm.
but I'm so limited on points that 5 really that's a Panther platoon,
Hmm.
5 points.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, and I mean, we checked it. I think I ended up about average.
Yeah, I was
But yeah,
right on average too.
God, you could really get hammered
Yep. Yep.
if you rolled 6 every time,
Well,
which
yeah,
could happen.
it could. Pretty unlikely, but yeah, if you just rolled, a couple fives and a six, that's
Yeah,
not hard to do. I mean, that's 16 frickin' purchase points you lose right there. You could buy a lot of
yeah,
German units for that. And you have a couple
yeah,
dates like that, and the British get good rolls. The campaign game could end in one or two really bad turns for the Germans. It seems like it's really the German success is sensitive to their uh, purchase points.
yeah. Because you don't start with much and you don't get much. You basically need everything you can get
Hmm.
just to hang on.
Yeah.
I don't think there's even if you got maximum purchase points, I still don't think there would be any. I don't think there'd be any point where you would actually could go on the offensive per se.
No. No. Now,
Uh,
speaking of offensive, you didn't buy a an attack chit.
Shit.
Would
No,
you,
I
in
thought about
hindsight,
it.
would you do that if you
Uh,
played it again?
no, I think I'd still be on the fence. It would
Yeah.
have to. It would just depend on what the map looked like at the time.
Hmm.
Because like it's tough because if I don't purchase it and play it on the day that you go idle,
Oh,
it
right.
really doesn't do any. It really doesn't do anything for me. It becomes a dual attack,
Well, you
and
still
it's
do the dual attack, but you could, yeah, depending on the setup area, you can potentially take back a small section of setup area and push the British back a little bit. That's about the most you could do. You could go on an offensive, but it has to be one that's very selective for you to have any success.
well, yeah. I don't. The way I remember looking at it was unless I played it when you went idle, it just wouldn't be that big of an advantage, and
Oh,
there's just
definitely
the
not.
potential.
Yeah.
The potential is just there's too much potential to lose units, and it's like I just couldn't afford to lose even one unit.
Yeah.
I didn't think. I don't know,
The
but
ideal.
yeah,
Go ahead.
it might work. You
Yeah,
know.
the ideal time to spend it is when the British are forced to take their idle date. If you knew that, that's when you would want to take it. But you didn't know that. I think you suspected when I would
Well, I
take it.
always thought it. Yeah, I kind of thought once we got going, I figured it might be campaign date 4, which it was, right? So, but
Well, I would have normally in hindsight again,
yeah.
I would take it on campaign game date 5 because that's a morning date because
Oh
you
yeah,
have to
your
you,
armor.
you have to
Yeah,
drive your armor all the way on board, but I had no armor and I didn't buy any armor. So I
yeah,
swapped it and I took it 4 instead of 5, but I would normally take it on a 5. That's where I would recommend taking it.
yeah. That would be better. Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But in this playing I switched it because I didn't have any armor left. You killed it all.
The only problem. What about though? The only problem with taking it on 5, that only leaves you one campaign date left to win. I mean, if something goes horribly wrong, you only have like 5 or 6 turns to.
Well, if you look at this playing, if I would have played campaign game date 4, I would have pushed to the same point that I would have pushed in campaign game date 5. I would have had the same goals because my starting points would have been the same because we didn't play. So the
Yeah,
setup areas were the same. I just would have pushed to my goal at the end of campaign game date 4 instead of 5. So I don't think it would have. I know it seems like there'd only be one date left, but I think I would have been at the same point as far as progression goes if I would have swapped those.
oh yeah, most likely. Yeah, but I guess like we never played a campaign game before, so I guess I don't know. Really, not sure what my expectations were, but that's one of the big things I noticed was like playing a regular scenario. When we play a regular scenario, like you say, we have victory conditions, and it seems like there's always some last minute heroics. It gets kind of crazy. A lot of stuff happens,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
But with
because
the campaign game, it's nothing like that. It just grinds on and grinds to a halt. Then you play the next campaign date, and it's just the same thing over and over for
yeah.
the most part. I
Well, for a
mean,
scenario, there's an end game. One side has a goal, right? And the other side has to keep the other player from getting that goal, whether it's capture buildings or victory points or whatever. That usually leads to crazy things happening. In in a campaign game, at least what I learned from playing it is you live to fight another day. You typically don't towards the end of a date, you don't do crazy things because you have another date the next morning or
right?
afternoon,
Yeah,
and it's like, well, those units carry over. I need to use them. Now, once in a while, I would do something crazy because I think for every 4 squads that were eliminated, you could bring back one squad at lesser quality. So I'd keep track of my units lost, and if I had like 7 squads lost and it was towards the end of a date, if I lost another one, I knew I'd get something back. So sometimes I would just run a guy to take a building. If I lost him, I'd just get him back. That's the only crazy thing I would do towards the end of a date.
you just run him out in the open. Let him stand there. Come on, shoot him. Shoot my guy. No, I don't want to shoot him, Neil. Shoot
Okay,
him.
I'll take this
Shoot him.
building then. But yeah, typically, yeah, I would. I remember, I think early in the game, I think I pulled my armor back. I think I pulled 2 of my Shermans back because you had Panthers out and I really couldn't get to them. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to preserve these for the next date. And I think I pulled them back behind my lines and just hit them towards the end of one of the dates.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't do that in a normal scenario. You would just be like, balls to the walls. I got to do this or that. And yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely different. Um,
So when are you ready to play another campaign game?
uh, Well,
Oh,
you know, it's weird. Time heals all wounds, I
of
guess.
course.
But yeah, I'm starting to feel like maybe yeah, I'd almost play Elst again. Even as the Germans, I think
Oh, bullshit.
I'm almost to that point. But
No, you're lying. I know you're lying right now. You are
no,
so full of
I would definitely get more artillery though. I'd just buy as much artillery as I could.
it. Wow, you've really come around. Time does heal all wounds.
But yeah. And then all I'd probably have to do is start setting it up, and then I would have the PTSD flashbacks,
You'd
and
have
I'd
the
be like,
cold
no,
sweats.
I can't do this. Yeah, can't do it.
I don't ever see us playing Elst again. There's so many. I mean, this was our last.
SK
Yeah, which
starter
we
kit.
didn't mention. This was the end of starter kit for us, which is to get us back into the system. So I doubt I won't say we won't ever revisit a starter kit scenario or whatnot, but I doubt we'll ever play Elst again.
No, I don't. Probably not. No,
There's so many other campaign games to play, either
I don't know. You know,
third
it
party
may
or multi-man publishing.
a year or so down the road. Maybe like I want a rematch. Maybe
And
throw
I'll
down at Elst.
and I'll be like, "You're kidding. You're just joking, right? You
Yeah,
sure?"
you'd be like, you're fucking high.
And you would want to play the Germans again, or would you want the British?
Um,
Put
I
put me through the pain.
yeah. There's two sides of that coin. Yeah, I mean, part of me would want a rematch to maybe try and win as the Germans,
Hmm.
but then the other part would be like, yeah, just to like make you play the Germans and then just
Punish me.
yeah punish you.
Oh God.
No, I don't know. Yeah, there's so many other campaign
Yeah,
games to play.
yeah. So yeah, so we're now full, not full. We're quite a ways into the full ASL rules. We're going to jump back into armor here soon, but I think we're still a ways off from playing a full ASL campaign game. But if we were to,
Yeah.
which one do you think you'd want to look at
Uh,
first?
I don't know. There's a lot. Nothing big. Yeah.
Like,
Probably be more like a small third party or
or Hatton and Flames, something like that seems
yeah,
reasonable.
something. I think yeah, there's some little one mappers, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Lone Canuck Publishing, I think he calls them tactical missions, not campaign games. And the maps are more like Elst size, maybe a little smaller than Elst. They're not like giant monster campaign games.
I don't know. I'm actually yeah, I would really love to do Blood Reef, so
Yeah, a literal bloodbath, historically
yeah.
and in the game, from what I've read. Who would you play? Oh, I know who you'd play. You take the
Well,
Marines if
Americans,
you had the
of course,
choice,
yeah.
right?
Of course. uh, Either side, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
That's what we
Um,
should do is next time is play a campaign game and then switch sides and play it again.
that'd be hard to do though, because a campaign game is. That's the other thing I learned. A campaign game is a grind, right?
It is. It's a
I
lot of
mean,
work. There was a lot of times where it felt like it was more like work than playing a game, really, honestly. Yeah, it was.
yeah, because we're
I
playing
mean,
at the height of COVID, and we're playing sometimes 4 times a week.
yeah, because I wasn't working.
Right.
You're retired.
Yeah.
And so we used that time. We were playing quite a bit. And
Hmm.
it still took, what, 6 weeks?
Yeah, like 6 weeks, about a week a campaign game date. Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, yeah, the British with all those units and turns would take a while. But, um,
Oh yeah, there was some. I mean, it's probably not a counter-heavy campaign game compared to others, but I mean, one day there were probably 10, 12 pieces of armor on the board and 30, 40 infantry. It takes a while to move that much stuff.
yeah, I mean, yeah, the turn times I think were definitely longer than say just a
Oh yeah,
typical scenario
yeah.
because of the unit sizes and stuff. But in reality, that's usually about all we play is about one scenario a week.
Hmm.
So, and that can take, depending on the size of it, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, the dates were just long scenarios.
Yeah,
But
six
there's
turn, basically 6 turn scenarios
roughly,
with
yeah.
a lot of units.
But there's more to it than just that. There's the
Yeah,
refit phase, there's drawing
refit.
of
Yeah.
setup areas, and we would go back and forth. We could mostly agree, but there'd always be like debates about a hex here or there. But it takes time to draw all that stuff and buy units and do setups.
Well, yeah, because it was all new to us, and then it seemed like to me the rules on the refit part, as far as the setup areas and stuff, was a little sketchy. It could have been worded a little better, maybe, because we struggled with it, I think, especially at first.
Yeah,
And so,
mainly when units were close in tight. I would get a little
the
confused
whole
on
no man, yeah, the no
who,
man
yeah.
stuff.
But typically out in the fringes, the setup area is fine. But whenever we'd have units close into each other, I'd get a little confused. But I think in general, we agreed most of the time on the setup areas.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
campaign game's a grind.
most of the time, the whole setup area, I think it wasn't that big of an issue.
No.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah, as long as both players agree that you're close enough,
happy
or
with it.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a grind. Definitely, just like the game itself was a grind. But
So I don't know if I could do a campaign game back to back. I think I need a break.
yeah.
Be like, finish Blood Reef. Let's jump in. Let's switch sides and jump in tomorrow. I'd be like, oh wow.
Well, yeah, and I knew this would happen. I knew because we talked about when we were playing it, but it's like because you kept asking me, "Do you think you'd ever want to do this again? Do you think you'd ever want to do this again?" I'm like, "Oh God, no," because it was playing the Germans and just yeah, it was like I was
Was
so ready for it to be. I was so ready for it to be over, but now it's been like close to 3 months or whatever. And I'm not so bitter about it, and like
no,
I'm already halfway. I'm halfway to the point of wanting to try another one. So
no.
yeah.
It was a fun experience. There were times, even as a British, there were several times I was just frustrated as hell as well.
Oh, because
So, oh
the dice
God,
bot would just lump you up bad. Yeah,
yeah.
it
But
got to the point where you were just cowering at a normal morale check.
I still
And
do. I still, when we
you
play a normal
just dread
scenario, I'm
it.
still triggered. I'm like, God, a +1 morale check. Shit.
If I roll and I say morale check, I can, your heart rate must
Like,
jump
oh God.
up, and you
I'd be,
get cold sweats
I'd be like,
and
can I get like a
dry
K1
mouth, and
K1 or something? I'd rather have that.
yeah,
um,
yeah. There was several campaign dates where the dice bot just was brutal to you.
yeah.
But
But even so, I mean, if the dice bot would have been on one or two of those dates, it was like one or two dates that was really bad. If that would have happened, like if it would have been reversed and the Germans, I was able to recover. I don't know if the Germans could recover from those kind of
no,
rolls.
no, probably not.
Um,
There was, there was parts of what was a campaign date 2 or 3 where he about swept me off the map,
yeah,
and it was because I basically couldn't make a morale check. It was the same
right.
thing. It was everything would break, and I just had to route back, and then I got to the point where I was getting eliminated for failure to route, and
Hmm.
it just yeah.
Yeah, I think I eliminated most of the units of yours I eliminated were failure to route. I don't think I got many like KIAs or casual reduction type things. It was mostly failure to route. And I think most of the armor I killed was either light anti-tank weapons or close combat. I'm not sure I killed a single. No, I killed one. Yeah, I killed one of your Panthers with a rear shot. But my
Hmm.
Shermans, It didn't do a whole lot. It didn't kill a whole lot of your armor.
No, the one day when you really went after him, it got ugly.
God.
I had two Panthers. You started with seven
Yeah.
Shermans, and I took out 6 of them.
Yeah. I think I had six Shermans and one Firefly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but there again, the baffled dice spot didn't help you out. I don't think too much.
no, not on the 2 hits. I couldn't. I'd drive up, shooting right up your tailpipe. Miss. 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 I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Adjacent.
Yeah.
Miss. Uh, no, it was fun. Good experience. I mean, for years, well, decades now, I guess, going back. When I first bought, what was the first campaign game? Was it Kampfgruppe Piper or Red Barricades?
I think it
Whichever
was
one.
Red Barricades.
Yeah, whichever one came out first. I'm like, oh god, this would be epic.
Yeah.
And one thing, careers, school, work, whatever, we never got to them. So I was really glad that we played, at least cut our teeth on Decision at Elst for a campaign game.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was fun. I'm glad we played it. It was it's like I don't know how many people actually get to play campaign games, or even maybe they start it, but do they finish it? It's kind of a big deal, really. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I think it seems like, at least from what I can tell, that either there are some people that are just really into campaign games and that's
Yeah.
all they play, and then there are the rest who are like, they feel intimidated, they don't want to get into it. I feel like I straddle the line. I liked it, but I also like individual scenarios. So I want to play more campaign games, but I couldn't see myself
Doing it
grinding
all the
through
time.
a campaign game as my only thing all the time. It seems like a grind.
No. Yeah, it'd get old, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of work. It's just a different kind of playing.
Hmm.
Yeah, he needs something light and
Right.
easy. And
Yep.
yeah, I think there's some guys that just like to play him solo.
Yeah.
And,
Just chill and play solo. I don't think I would ever play a campaign game solo. I've played individual scenarios solo, but I don't know if I would do a campaign game.
yeah, I don't know. It just if you didn't, I can kind of see doing it, but I don't know. There's just
So,
so much going on.
yeah. Yeah.
Have we talked long enough, you think?
Yeah, I think we're petering out here on Elst. So that's the end
Hasta
of
la
Elst.
vista, Elst.
That's the
Yeah.
end of starter kit for now, for us at least. I can safely say maybe we'll dip our toe in later. That's one thing that I was talking to Amy the other night because we wrote that article, which I think was cool, and I hope it makes it. The other thing I'd like to do is design at least one scenario, right, and see what
Yeah.
happens, whether we just play it or if it gets in a magazine or whatever. I'd like to do a scenario sometime. It might be a starter kit scenario, so we may revisit
Yeah.
starter kit sometime down the road, but I don't see us playing it, like
I've
we
always
did.
wanted. Yeah. I've always. Almost probably from the very beginning, I've always wanted to
Hmm.
design my own scenario.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that may be my next goal, starter kit scenario. So we may play starter kit sometime down the road.
I think your goal should be starter kit campaign game.
No, shit.
Yeah.
Design one? No,
Yeah.
no,
Do it.
no.
Easy.
You do it. No, you do it. We could do it. That's a lot
I
of
don't
work.
want to. You do. You can't make me.
All the research and play testing and
The
no.
play testing. Yeah, there's a lot of play testing. That's the one thing that stopped me from ever really doing my own scenario was the amount of play testing. To
Hmm.
get it right, I think it would be a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
No, we did the article. One scenario is my next goal. After that, we'll worry about that later.
Definitely.
Yep. So that's it. We're done with Elst. We're done with starter kit. On to the full Monty. Gavin Take is next, which we played a couple months ago. But that's the next video we're gonna do. We played that. We played Gavin Take on the D-Day anniversary.
That's right. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
Which
June
so
6th,
yeah, that was
2020.
a couple months ago. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
So on to full ASL. Should be fun.
Yep.
All hail the Vassal Dice Bot.
Oh God, no. I'm gonna choke that thing out.
Oh, when are you gonna start that Facebook group?
The Vassal Hater Facebook group.
The
I might do that today.
Vassal Dice Bot
Might,
haters.
yeah, Vassal Dice Bot Haters group. Yep.
That'd be funny. Okay,
All right.
we'll see you in full ASL.
Hasta la vista.
Adios.